His main focus would be the Lord. That everything that we do, everything that happens, everything that we dedicate, the dedication is for the Lord alone. Meaning, though I am working and interacting with various structured approaches, like I am working and interacting with my family, my husband, my wife, my children, my boss, my subordinates, my peers, my friends, my relatives, various segments. Instead of working and interacting with them as if they were some XYZ, we interact with them as though that whatever we are doing unto them, it is the service to the Lord in them. Remember, we took the example of Narsi Mehta and the Bhiksha that he had acquired. Now it takes a tremendous intensity to maintain that bhava. It's not that easy. So Bhagavan says in the next shloka, which is in the 8th one, Mayyeva manadhasva mai buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mayyeva ata urdhvam na samshayaha. Maintain yourself in such a way that every activity that is performed, whether it is at a physical level or at an intellectual level or at the emotional level, at body, mind and intellectual level, there is at least an integrity between these equipments. What is the integrity? Usually, we think one thing, say one thing, and do entirely a different thing. We can observe it in our lives. For example, one of the evenings you planned that with your family you will go out for some nice outing, and you got your entire family ready, and they were also very excited, and you all took the keys. As you are going to step out, the doorbell rings, and there comes someone that you have not seen for like 2-3 months. You have not spoken, you have not met them, and they are there. And the first thing they say, hope I am not disturbing you. Internally, what is happening? Gate crashes. You could have at least called, you could have at least intimated. There's a lot happening inside. What is the expression given? A shocked surprise. A smile with surprise. Long time no see. Which doesn't match with what is happening inside. And then do entirely a total different thing when it comes to action. So what we think, what we say and what we do are not in perfect sync. Though we intend dedicating our life at body, mind and intellect to the highest altar, which makes it bhakti, something which is bigger than, something which is larger than the stupid little entity called ego. And whose ego are we talking about? It is our ego, it is my own ego that I have to sacrifice and dedicate my action something subtler, higher than the egoistic existence. The first one is wherein I have my complete focus that whatever I am doing is nothing but my service unto the Lord. Second one, I am not at that intense level, but at least I am trying to focusing in doing things wherein it is not dedicating it to this little altar of ego, but the higher altar. Whatever actions that I am performing at the body, mind and intellect level, I am giving it to a nobler cause, a higher cause that I am dedicating it. And there also we do a lot of cheating. Though we say that we are doing it for a nobler cause, the hidden agenda is that we carry lot of name, fame, glory. That is why most of them who have done lot of politics, where do they end in the end?
Jail.
Jail. I like the simplicity with which he ends. Assuming that crookedness goes along with politics unsaid. But most of them, when you look and observe, like the past presidents, if you take, after their political career, they established something called philanthropic acts. A lot of charity. They established charity, and what is the bottom line of all this charity?
Keep themselves busy somewhere.
So that their name, their fame, there is a hidden agenda in it. It is not purely based out of an act to serve. Like there are many kids who come in Dallas, Balavihar we have. So many kids who come and Swamiji, do you have something so that I can come and serve? I said, just because you have now the necessity to get certain service hours, and you are asking as if now you want to serve the mission, but actually what is the bottom line? It is not that you want to serve the mission. At the end of it, you want a certain letter of recognition, letter of recommendation, and so many hours spent. There is always a hidden agenda. Why do we do what we do? There is always that hidden agenda. There is something. But instead, if we can focus something better than, higher than that little expectation of the ego, that would be the second step. And in order to do that, it doesn't come easy. As easily said, doing it is not that easy. So he says, Swamiji, it is not that easy. What can we do? Because I don't see that change, that impact that I am expecting in my life. As soon as I do it, I don't see that comfort zone is not achieved. What do I do? So the next step that Bhagavan says, it is in the next shloka. We saw the shloka yesterday. Repeat it. Atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi maye sthiram abhyasa yogena tataha mamichhaptum dhananjaya. This is a very important step. And I'll take a couple of great Mahatmas and their interpretation as to what they mean by this step. Abhyasa yogena tataha. If the earlier stated two steps don't work, then the next best thing is to start abhyasa. What does abhyasa mean? Practice. There is nothing that comes by without practicing. Has it ever happened that a baby walks out of the mother's womb? Does ever a baby come out of the mother's womb walking? That will be a scary situation. In fact, the baby does not even know how to turn. How many months does it take for the baby to turn? Parents, so you have to help me there.
3 months. 3 months.
3 to 4 months? So 3 to 4 months the baby takes time to figure that I don't need to be stuck in this kind. And you can very clearly see the kid and find if the kid has really turned onto their tummy or not. Why? Because on the back of their head there is a bald spot. Because of the constant this.
Yeah.
And they are not turned. It shows in the impact here. It has gotten a little deforested. But that time when they start turning, that is when the hair starts growing back. Otherwise it gets pulled. And after they're turning, then they learn how to move forward, crawling. Then another 3 months of crawling. One fine day, there is that magic moment. The first time your child has learned to maintain a little balance. And he is also shocked, surprised. What is happening? I am able to stand? Dum. He falls again. It takes time. And from that moment to the next step wherein the child learns how to walk. How many months again? Another month and a half, 2 months? More than that, probably. And in learning how to maintain that balance to walk, how many times does the child fall? It is not a simple thing. Even now if you sit and analyze in a physics classroom as to how do you move forward step by step, it's an amazing thing that there is that center of gravity that has to be maintained, there is a balance that has to be coordinated, then your eyes and everything has to read the next step, whether it is low, high or a smooth surface, a rough surface, how much pressure you should put your next step with. So much of calculation happening. And all this you have learned over the period, making sure that you don't slip again, you don't fall again. Right? Everything comes by practice. A child, when they start speaking, I don't think even the mother understands what the child is speaking. Because they are those 1.5, 2-year-old and they know that they can move their tongue and they can make sounds and they want to communicate a lot. So mother says, Swamiji, he is saying Hari Om. Bada lamba chauda Hari Om. So I tell the mother, convey in his language that I also am saying Hari Om to him. It takes a while for the child to even say the first syllable. And then one sudden moment, the child says, Amma. And you should look at the face. He called me Amma. The first time. But then you keep trying to show, he called me, say Amma. For next 3-4 months, no sound.
No, no.
It takes a while for that kid to even say certain things. Then comes the age wherein they don't stop talking. I'm sure with your kids you have gone through that phase. Constantly asking, constantly talking, constantly, Mama, 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 Mama. It almost is like a nagging sound in the background. Stop! But no, they'll continue talking. In order to get that vocabulary and talk, sometimes they amaze you, the kind of vocabulary that they pick. Imagine a 3.5-year-old who can't even pronounce words properly. Ends up saying, in my whole life I did not have such a good meal. How big is your whole life? 3 years, 3.5 years. But they must have picked that vocabulary from somewhere. Not that they understand it, not that they know what it means. They know that they can use it now. So they can pick vocabulary. And it takes a while for us to perfect that vocabulary and present our thought accordingly and find the appropriate word for that appropriate emotion and then express. Even then, even with so much of practice, in certain moments, we freeze. Why? It was so good that I can't explain it. Don't we end up saying that? It was so beautiful, you should have been there. Why? Our words, we cannot express it properly. And then if you observe people, your own way of how we talk and how we... There's something called Toastmasters. You should see there. You know what I mean? So the moment you keep repeating these cliches, these repetitive words, you are fined. So you have to constantly remind yourself that you shouldn't be using these kinds of unnecessary vocabulary. Even though we have grown up, it takes effort to express. So everything comes by practice. Yesterday I was asking, how many years does it take to become a doctor or an engineer? 16 to 20 years to become a doctor, 30 years to become a 30 years to become a doctor and 16 to 20 years to become a engineer. That many hours, that many days, that many years spent consistently on practicing that particular field that you get an expertise. We come into the spiritual field. Swamiji, my mind is not peaceful, I should do something. Okay, do this japa, do this. Third day, Swamiji, it is not working. The moment I sit, close my eyes and start chanting it, it is like overpowered with unnecessary thoughts. I don't think this works for me. I should search for something new. Give it some time. Don't be impatient. Practice it. But no, we want instant results. You can have instant coffee. You can have instant foods, packed foods. There was somebody who read, coming from India, instant baby powder. So the mother really freaked out because he had taken her for the first time to the grocery store. She read this instant baby powder. She said, "You just mix it and babies are produced." So the son said, "Mom, it is for the babies that are produced that you mix this powder and give to feed them." And okay, you don't know. There's so many things getting so fast. All that you have to do is mix this powder and babies are created. Maybe there could be a day wherein we could reach even to that level. But sadhana has to be performed so meticulously that it requires that initial phase of practice. And how many days do we practice? Then I give you your classical answer to you. It depends. Because whatever question I ask, your classic answer always has been, it depends. So how many days of this sadhana has to be performed? It depends. Depends on what? Depends on purity of purpose. Depends on clarity. Depends on intensity. Depends on the quality. Suddenly somewhere down the lane of practicing this sadhana, we forget the quality and intensify the quantity. I always in the morning I spend 3 hours in my puja. You try to spend 3 hours in performing your puja, but how many minutes does your mind stay in that puja? One of Gurudev's famous statements was that 23.5 hours of diligent karma yoga after having performed, half an hour when you sit on the seat of meditation, if for half a minute the mind gets absorbed into that quality of yoga with the self, then you have made a good move towards, positive move towards spiritual unfoldment. No, we want instant results. It is not going to happen. Give it time. Understand what you are working with. Understand how you are working with it. and grow step by step. Abhyasa yogena tataha mamichaptum dhananjaya. And here he mentions Arjuna's name as Dhananjaya. He's trying to indicate something. He says, you have earned a lot of name and fame and wealth and victories. Did it happen just like that, Arjuna? He said, no. In order to earn all that, I had to put so many hours of practice. Who is the best tennis player that you like? Federer. I'm just taking a sample, nothing that my personal thing. So he cannot say that anywhere I'll go onto the field, I'll have to play. I'll play it there. No. In order to make sure that they can play well on that platform, how many hours of practice is required daily? Just with the techniques. He is considered as the world's number one. But even that number one has to practice with techniques daily. At least 3-4 hours. Now, at least on techniques 3-4 hours. Then on shaping their body and keeping it in perfect shape, perfect condition. They have to go to their gym and constantly exercise, tune their body. So there is constant effort of practice put to bring out that best out of them. In 24 hours, how much time do we take out for sadhana? Serious japa or something. How much time? Okay, first of all, I'm assuming that you take out time. Okay, let me step back. Do you take out time?
Yes.
Please do take out some time. How much time do we spend?
From 20 to 30.
15-20 minutes? In 24 hours, that 15 minutes, what percentage of the day's time is it? How much percentage of our time are we spending on that? Less than 1%? We don't even spend 1% of our time in a day towards that effort. And after a few months or few weeks of that 15 minutes, what is it that we are expecting? The result of somebody who has spent at least 60-70% of their time daily on that particular route for few years, that kind of result we expect is 15 minutes. Is it even possible? First of all, start doing that abhyasa, rain or shine, whether you feel like doing it or not. Even if it is mechanical, spend those 15 minutes meticulously. Let the mind understand that it is not negotiated time space wherein, if you don't feel like, you can give it up. Even if the mind doesn't feel like it, sit in front of that Lord, continue doing your japa, puja, whatever that you are doing. That 15 minutes has to be a disciplined time. That the mind comes to understand, come that 15 minutes, there is nothing that can distract me from being with the Lord. Abhyasa. But I don't have any connection with the Lord. How do I create that connection? You go into Walmart, left hand side, the extreme corner, you will have the sports section. In that sports section, there is this little glue that you get. What do you call them? Gorilla glue? So, in order to create that connection, you put that Puri Laddu and stick yourself there. Does it work that way? Or does can bhakti be increased by any external methods or means? There is only one method through which bhakti can be improved. It is called Shravana. It all starts with Shravana. The more and more you keep listening about the Lord of your heart, whichever form of the Lord that may be. Say if that Lord of your heart is Hanumanji, listen to Sundarkand, listen to the Hanuman Chalisa, not just listen to the chanting of it, but understand the meaning of it, understand the entire Leela of Hanumanji. If it is Krishna, understand the Leela of Krishna, 10th canto of Bhagavatam. If it is Lord Shiva, understand it through Shiva Purana. The entire Leela of Lord Shiva is given there. Constantly spend some time. Swamiji, where do I find time? Going up and down from your office to home, how much time do you spend in car? Hour? Okay, how much time? Okay, 20 minutes to 1 hour. So average it out. At least half an hour you spend? Yes. That half an hour could be used effectively. There's enough resources available. You can download, you can burn the CDs, listen to it constantly. Half an hour created. How much time do you spend early morning in bathroom? Starting from brushing your teeth to taking a shower and getting out clean. How much time? 30 minutes. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
You don't have to put on makeup.
Yeah.
Then you would be spending at least an hour and a half or two. 30 minutes. Anyway, 30 minutes. Okay, I appreciate sincere answer. Why ridicule that? Okay, 30 minutes. Again, my mind is still going on that. I have to pull myself back from it. So that 30 minutes that you spend, what is it that effectively that you are doing? Anything else? Nothing. So instead, start chanting the name of the Lord right since you start brushing your teeth. How many teeth do you have? 32 at least. If your dentist has not been violent, you are left with at least. Where is the oral doctor? He is not there, so I can say it. I just realized after saying that he deals with, because the moment they see wisdom teeth, they see market. Once I had some toothache, I went to the doctor. Instead of answering for or catering to my toothache, she says, "You have 4 wisdom teeth." Now they have to take them out. I said, "What did they do to you? Focus. The pain is here, not here. Give medicine for here." So you have 32 teeth. So while you are brushing, what do you do? Say Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai. You are spending those 3 minutes. You are taking the name of the Lord. While you are in the shower, what are we doing? Are we achieving anything, accomplishing anything very great? Nothing. Instead, learn some stotra or some chanting. Like say you learn Hanuman Chalisa, learn Madhurashtakam, or say Shiva Panchakshari Stotra, or what is that? Lingashtakam. Gange Yamune Cheva, Godavari Saraswati, Narmade Sindhu Kaveri. There are these stotras and shlokas. Memorize them. Now what I do? I start with Sahasra Sirsha, Purusha, Sahasraksha, Sahasravad, Sabhumim. Start with the Purusha Sukta. You are chanting. You are utilizing the time well. Or if you are some of those who spend in the shower more than 5 minutes, it is too much of a time. So time yourself. Say learn Hanuman Chalisa. Your entire shower should be done within the one chant of Hanuman Chalisa. No repeats in between, okay? Shri Guru Charana Sarvojana Jai, Shri Guru Charana Sarvojana. I need that much time to complete my shower. No. In one shot you say it. So you are accomplishing, wherein you are utilizing that time. Half an hour solid you have added in creating that abhyasa, so that you could listen to the glories, repeat the glories of the Lord. The more you repeat and the more you intensify, the love for that divine is generated. Sitting here, let me ask a very generic question. How many of you have an eye product? iPhone, iTouch, iPad, Nano, this. Please keep raising. I don't. Wow. Put your hands down. You know, like 100% of the crowd. And within a family, the entire family was raising the hand. I made that note. So each one of you have an eye product? So when the marketing starts of any product, the entire media is bombarded with this message. Say the model that is taken is, say, a sports person or somebody that you know, and you think that they are cool, and these products are, they are cool because they use this product, and that is what is constantly brainwashed. So you hear it once, you hear it twice, you hear it 3 times, then you see that your friend or your neighbor or somebody in the cubicle somewhere across there, they're using it, looks cool really. It not just appears cool, but it looks also cool. And there is this constant abhyasa happening. You are hearing about it and you are thinking about it now. Now because of that hearing, now there is lot of meditation on that happening. Now iPhone is cool, iPhone is cool, iPhone is cool, iPhone is cool. It's iPhone meditation. Somewhere down the line, the iPhone is cool changes to, I want an iPhone, I want an iPhone, I want an iPhone. It becomes a desire. So intense that you will not stop with anything less than that particular product possessed by you. Isn't it a day-to-day experience? When did it all start? How did it all start? With the Shravana, with hearing about it for the first time. You may not be into movies, but your friends are all talking about it. They are intrigued. Is it really that good a movie? You have heard about the character, the analysis of it, the theme of it. So good. So after hearing, now you start wishing that you could also see. Like somebody said, I got into this football not because I like it or I want it, but because everybody around me is talking about it. So just to be a part of it, I spend time understanding what that game is, who is playing what. In fact, in many management classes it is taught that watch these football, baseball and basketball games because they start a very good starters for conversation, so that you can reach out, the icebreakers. I have not done any management courses, but you can tell me, you are all professional in that. Isn't it? Isn't it a good starter? And hence, therefore, you start loving that game later. So much so that anything happen, rain or shine. Super Bowl time, have to be home in front of the TV. And soon you will start seeing that you are constantly maintaining the statistics. Which team, what kind of offensive team they have, what kind of defense team they have. And constantly when you are parasparam charchayantaha. You are not only thinking, you are not only hearing, you are not only meditating on it, you are constantly even interacting with everyone. That is also abhyasa. Now the sad phase that we have to go through is, we are not even proud enough to claim ourselves as a Hindu. Because the moment you say you are a Hindu, there are so many questions that people ask, I don't have answers. The best thing to do is, I am born in a Hindu family, but I am not an active practice. So don't ask me questions. Or the other way around. The more you bash it, the more you become popular. Now from that mindset to grow to a level wherein you start thinking about Lord, meditating on Lord, there is a lot of improvement that has to be done. There is a huge vacuum that has to be covered. That is called Abhyasa Yoga. And I said, Bhagavan, I can't find myself time enough to even do Abhyasa. If I was there in the position of the Lord, I would have whacked and said, practice kar. Enough now. Enough of your bahanas. Lord being Lord, He has lot of patience. He says, Abhyasepya samarthosi Matkarma paramo bhava Madarthamapi karmani Kurvan siddhimavapsyasi Bhagavan, abhyasaha api asamarthaha asi. I don't think I am qualified. Samartha, qualified. Asamartha, I am not qualified for performing even this abhyasa. What do I do? So Bhagavan says, Mad karma paramo bhava. At least, whenever you act in this world, whenever you are performing something, try to think of me before you perform. Mat karma paramo bhava. Wherein you are changing the attention. Changing the attention from being sucked into the doership. Instead, I consider at this stage that whatever I am doing, it is done by the Lord through me. Can I at least change that much? We are not asking you to change your lifestyle. We are not asking you to change the intensity and the intention and other things. Whatever you are doing, can you at least start imagining that it is the Lord who is functioning through you? The Lord who is inspiring you to function this. Initially there is a doubt. I can understand good things that I do. I can say that God is inspiring me to do it. Or it is God who is functioning through me. What about the bad things? Initially, we were asked to say that even the bad things that we are doing are by the Lord through me. But as my intensity of love towards the Lord increases, all those which are unrighteous and bad, would I end up performing it? See, you are doing something wrong. It happens often sometimes. In Dallas, I travel quite a bit. So suddenly I went to a grocery store. Got my groceries. As I was stepping out, one of our mission members was standing outside. Why? He was having some fresh air. That's what they call. You know what does having some fresh air means? Spoiling some fresh air. Smoking. As soon as he saw me coming, he didn't even want me to come close by. And then from the back I saw the halo coming, smoky halo coming. I understood. I said, पैसे आपके, फेफड़े आपके, continue. It is your money, your lungs. Just because I have come or you've seen me, you are hiding it. I said, I can see it from behind you. So after the person said, no, Swami, it's not that way, but it's out of respect that I don't want to do it in front of you. See, when you respect somebody, when you have that kind of reverence towards somebody, and you end, admiring, loving that person, would you end up doing the wrong things in front of them? Like, the parents, and you were so angry that you would have used a cuss word there. And you see the parents, why? Because out of that respect, you don't feel comfortable doing wrong things. So when the intensity of that devotion increases, would you even do such wrong things? No, you would always try to offer things that are of the best of its nature. Slowly it will change. First, everything you say that it is God. It's happening because of God. Duryodhana got stuck in that position. He didn't want to change. Slowly change in such a way that you become conscious of these negative patterns. And the next stage would be that not just that you are conscious of it, that before it can take into that shape and express as a negativity, you cut it short by stopping yourself into enacting a negative act. Mat karma paramo bhava. Understand that everything that is happening through you by the Lord. It's a very powerful statement actually. Even if an ounce of it is understood by us, volume of change happens in our life. When they say nothing happens without His permission, who is His? The Lord's permission. What does it mean? Everything that is expressed in this world is nothing but Paramatma. Each one of you have a name associated with that form. Don't we? But that name is to this body. The crux of each individual, the core of each individual is nothing but that Paramatma. So everything that is happening is in that Paramatma, by that Paramatma, unto that Paramatma. That is exactly what we chant before eating food. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva tena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. They said even the offering of food is an act of samadhi. Where is it being offered? It is being offered into the fire of hunger. Jatharagni. What is being offered? That into which it is being offered is Paramatma. That which is being offered is Paramatma. That who is offering it is Paramatma. The act of offering is also Paramatma. It's a very intense bhava, provided we reach there. At the initial stages, at least recognize that I can see because of the touch of consciousness. I can hear because of the touch of consciousness. What happens when somebody leaves this body, dies? The eyes are wide open. Can they see? No. What happened? That because of which they had the capacity to see is no more in that body. You unplug this device from electricity, can it amplify the sound? No. So everything that happens is because of Paramatma. That is the intention behind this particular sentence. That you can see, smell, taste, touch, hear, do, interact. It is because of that enlivening principle called Paramatma. Mat karma paramo bhava. Bhagavan, this is a very deep thought. It's a power-packed thought. I thought you would give me something simpler. So Bhagavan says, this is my last stage, okay? If you cannot fall in line with at least the last step, even God cannot save you. So what is the last step? It says, Athai tadapya shaktosi kartum madyogamashritah sarva karma phalatyagam tatah kuru yatatmavan. Now he comes to the very basic thought. Every action has a reaction. Right? Everything that you do, with the intention and the intensity with which you do, there is a result to it. There is a consequence to it. Do you know it by experience in your day-to-day life? That whatever you do has certain consequence. Do you agree with that statement? All of you. You do certain things and you have a certain consequence to it. Whatever you do, you alone will get the result of it, good, bad, indifferent, ugly, whatever be the result. Can anybody else snatch it? For example, let's take from the rudimentary examples. I eat food. Can your hunger be satiated? Yes or no?
No.
I take medicine. Can your headache be removed? Every action has a result or a consequence, and nobody can snatch that result away from the one who has intended to perform the act. But somewhere down the lane, there is a sense of mistrust or lack of understanding that carries forward about this principle of action having consequences. When when we feel that in our cubicle, when we are in our interactions, when our various politicized environments, charged up environments, that I put the effort, my boss takes the result or the credit. I put the effort, my husband snatches the credit. It always happens. And I do a lot of counseling between husband and wife. Whenever the children are doing great, my children, when they're not doing great, I don't know what my wife is doing with them. I was watching this movie and there was a beautiful standpoint. It's a chef, it's a restaurant, and something really bad goes. And the one who had done that mistake is fired. He's a nice guy, but he gets fired. So this girl intervenes and talks to the boss, praises the restaurant. The boss feels really good in my restaurant. So as much as when the credits are given, you take the credit. When something goes wrong, who has to take it? The boss. Do you pass the credit to the one who has really served and worked for that particular cause? No, you don't. So as much as you take the credit, you must also take the fall and not carry it forward, blame somebody else. It's a very beautiful point mentioned there. And somehow in our personal life, we don't take it forward. Why? We feel that somewhere down the lane, karma yoga doesn't work. It is not practical. In cutthroat competition, philosophy, Vedanta is when you are in front of the Lord, when you are in Bhagavad Gita class. But as soon as you step into your cubicle, this Vedanta doesn't work there only crookedness works. And there are parents who come and tell me, Swamiji, my child is so naive, straightforward. I don't know how he'll survive in this world. Is there a method or two that I can prep my child for the world and its worldliness? You're asking the wrong person. You're asking me tools for turning your innocent, straightforward child into a crooked child so that they can face it better. Because we feel that it is justified to be crooked. Here Bhagavan has a very simple sentence. You perform your actions. You alone will get the results. Nobody else can snatch it away from you. If I study Vedanta, will you become Vedanta? You all have studied engineering or whatever courses. Do I become an engineer because you have studied? Every action has a result. And who will get the result? The one who has performed alone will get the result. Not somebody bystander. Nobody can snatch your result. I will not brood on this particular topic more and more. Because this is a statement of fact. This is the law of karma in its functionality. Sow a mango seed, a mango will come. When? In its due course of time. As you sow, so you reap. And nobody can snatch it away from you. Even if there is an act of violence of somebody trying to snatch, they really cannot snatch your result from you. It is impossible. But because of our sense of attachment to the doership at that moment, we don't see this naked truth with our eyes. So Bhagavan says, at least do this. You have put the effort, and in due course of time it will give you result. That which is obvious that it will give you result, by you being or panicking at this moment or being anxious about it at this moment, can you change the result of tomorrow? Like my friend Siddhivinayak Temple Pujari. He says, people come to Siddhivinayak Temple just the day before when the results are to be announced. You doing an extra namaskar chamatkar around Ganeshji, is it going to change your result? Or the whole night biting your nails off? I don't know what is that. Is it going to change the result? Will it help? If it helps, please continue. If your hands and nails are not sufficient, I will provide mine also. Bite them leisurely. Why just hands? I will give you my legs also. Bite them. May you get a good result. But does it really help to get a better result? You being anxious, you going through that anxiety bouts, you going through that frustration in waiting and anticipating for the result, it will not have a dent on that result. It will definitely have a dent on your personality and your health. It is assured that you have performed, your result will be only yours. The sooner we trust this, the sooner we are close to our own peace with